right, everybody. Welcome back to Stogie 411. Mike and Mike here. We are finally back up on the air. A little bit of difficulty this morning. I hate to admit it, but I'll say it because I know Mike's going to say it if I don't, so I'll get it out of the way. I downloaded Lion on both my systems, and it's not working with Skype. So we got some issues, but we got a solution. We're back up. And as you tell today, our guest is Clint from 262 Cigars. How's it going, Clint?
Good. How are you guys?
Better now that we're back up and working. How's it going, Mike?
Oh, it's going. Fun morning so far. I think I am going to go ahead and light up this, the Paradigm that you sent me.
Very nice.
Yes. Yeah. You won't mind, Clint? I sent him my last one, not realizing I didn't have any more, so I won't be smoking today. So before we get going, Mike, go ahead, get it out of your system because I know you want to, and then we can get this interview going. I know you want to say something bad about Apple, so just go ahead and say it now. Get it over with. Let's. Clint and I are sitting back waiting.
I think Apple rules.
There you have it, folks.
You're so full of shit.
No, it seems like it is, like you said. I think it's Lion, and it only seems like it's the multi-chat. The regular chat works fine, so if anybody out there, I know Tom is saying about Lion, if any of you have it and have multi-chat on Skype, it might not work.
Yeah, it was working with the single chat, but when we went to it, that's what happened. But all right, well, enough with this Apple crap. Let's get to our guest of honor. So, hey, Clint, why don't you basically just tell us a little bit how you got started in the industry and a little bit about 262?
All right. Well, I had my first cigar. I was 18, 19 years old. It was an Ashton Corona. I punched it with a golf tee. I think I lit it with a Bic. Didn't really know what was going on, but I love the camaraderie that followed. You know, me and my buddy solved the world's problems that night. And, I woke up the next morning, there were still more problems, so we had to have another cigar, right? And so that kind of, I was bitten by the tobacco beetle, as they say. And from that point on, I graduated college and got a job doing accounting and just decided I needed to do something different with my life. I was sick of it. And I kept coming back to what are my passions. And I love playing the guitar, working on cars, driving cars, and cigars. And I missed my call to be a rock star. I blame my drummer for that. It's always the drummer's fault. And too tall to be a race car driver. And so I said, you know what, let's do cigars. So I started, kind of doing my homework and working on blends and stuff like that. And, here we have it a couple years later. We've got the 262 launched, and we've got the Paradigm and Ideology, and we're working on some other stuff. And so that's kind of where we're at. Kind of, the Cliff Notes version, if you will.
Nice. Now, how did, when you got into cigars, I mean, did it take you a long time to meet the right people and the tobacco and everything else?
Yeah. I grew up in a family. Like I said, I didn't have my first cigar until I was 18. I've got asthma, and so I just never, I was like, I'm not going to smoke. It's stupid. It's disgusting. It's bad for you. And then that's what the government pounds in your head, and that's what everybody, the powers that be, they keep pounding in your head. Well, cigars and cigarettes, and they're totally different. And, it's about the love and, again, the camaraderie. And so you find that you start finding different people throughout the industry, and you start meeting people and oh, well, I know such and such, or you got to go with this person, or give this guy a call. And it's just this love and this brotherhood. And so when I was looking at manufacturers and project managers to oversee our production and the right tobacco, it took some time, because I wanted to kind of be teamed up with somebody that shared the same passion and love that I have. Not just to make a quick buck, but it's the romance, And so I really, fire alarm fire out here at the office. Sorry, so that it takes some time because you want to make sure on the freshman debut that you want to do it right, and you want people to say, wow, they took some time. And they're not just throwing a bunch of product out there. They're really, did their due diligence on it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the way to go. What? Tell us a little bit. What's behind the name of the company? How'd you come up with the 262 and the Revolution?
Yeah, well, 262 is February is the second month. 62 is 1962. So 262, that's when JFK signed the Cuban trade embargo. And it's not the fact that he signed it. There was a lot going on in the country at that time, but it's how he went about doing it. He had Pierre Salinger go out and round up all these H. Upmann Petite Coronas. And he comes back, and JFK says, "Did you get my Petite Coronas?" And he says, "Yeah." So JFK pulls out the embargo and signs his name to it. So he got his before everybody else could get theirs, kind of. And we start to see that today with the regulations and the smoking bans and the taxations that are going on. And this is kind of our call to arms, kind of our quiet riot, if you will, to take a stand for something that is perfectly legal, something that done in moderation is not, probably is less harmful than all the coffee that we ingest, and so that's kind of the whole, reason behind 262 is stand up for your rights. It's totally legal. We're able to do it, and it's the whole double-edged sword and the hypocrisy, because up in on Capitol Hill, these congressmen are still smoking in Capitol Hill in this little Bermuda Triangle of a smoking room, and 85% of them are smoking Cuban cigars still. So they're above the law, and we're just kind of sick of it. And I was reading somewhere on a forum, and somebody likened us. They said we are the Rage Against the Machine of the cigar industry right now. And I don't know about all that, but just trying to take a stand.
Cool. You got to stand for something.
Yeah, definitely. What about the names of your lines, the Paradigm and Ideology? Yes.
Well, the Paradigm was it's kind of like a shift, change the way that you think about cigars and the industry and all that together. And wanted to do something new and different and try to stand out, because let's face it, there's thousands of cigars out there, and I don't have any Cuban heritage. I don't have any tobacco heritage, and I don't have a name passed on through generations like Fuente or Padron or Oliva. I'm just some guy from the Midwest that had a dream, had a passion, and so we kind of want people to change the way that they think about cigars. That it's not just old guys wearing Yavaras and sniffing leaves all the time. And then the ideology it's kind of our way of saying, what is your ideology? What are your beliefs? What do you believe in? What are you going to stand up for? So that's kind of how we came up with those names.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know why I always say Paradigm. I don't know why.
Yeah, I say Paradigm.
Yeah, I've heard so many different things, different pronunciations. It's all the same.
It all works as long as they sell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you enjoy them.
So, Clint, I don't know if it's true, but we want to find out if it's true. A recent rumor is that you're a recent newlywed. Is that true?
It's coming up on 6 years this August.
Ah, so you're not a newlywed. You're an old timer.
Yeah.
How's it going? How's married life treating you?
Very good. My wife is she's my biggest supporter. She's out there. She's my cheerleader, the whole 9 yards. So she's my rock, and definitely behind this all the way. And when we got started, I said it's going to be tough because I'm going to be on the road, 20 days a month, and it's going to be some days it's going to be tough. Where's this coming from? Where's that coming from? Guess what? We're eating ramen tonight. Well, we just had ramen for breakfast. Well, we get it for dinner too. So, but she understands that it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that we're in this together. And like I said, she's my biggest supporter. So,
does she smoke?
Occasionally. We're trying to break her into that. So, we're getting there though. She'll smoke some of like the Drew Estate Javas or Tobacco Specials or, so we're getting there.
Slowly but surely.
That's right.
Now, what is your favorite size of a cigar?
Box Press Toro is my favorite size. Is the one that we have is 6x54 slide box press, and if you'll notice, every single line that we have right now has that box press Toro, and then every single line that we do will have that box press Toro in it. Just why, like your parents used to say, why? Well, because I said so. Well, because I said so.
Nice.
That was a recent Twitter contest, actually. I believe
It was,
David
yeah.
over the Tiki Bar won it.
Yeah, Dave Jones. That guy wins everything. I'm gonna have to copy that.
He's
People
banned.
It's rigged.
So, what can we expect new from 262?
Well, this
Anything
year,
that you can go into?
a little bit, yeah. I'm actually, I've got some blend samples right now for a limited release that we're doing. Like we talked about, 262 was February of 1962. Fast forward to February 2012, that's the 50-year anniversary of when the embargo was signed. So we're going to do a special limited release for that. And then we're also working on another blend to come out in the fall of 2012, late summer, early fall. Kind of a medium full-bodied, I think. I'm getting some blends together for that as well. And then we also, right now we're supposed to have Corona and Ideology coming anytime now, which I'm very excited about. And then as far as Paradigm, we've got working on a Lancero for that for this fall. So very exciting, very interesting stuff.
Now, are they going to be? Is it just a brick and mortar for any of those, or is it going to be all over the internet? Or
We try very hard to stay true to the brick and mortars because that's what fueled my passion is you walk into a brick and mortar and you've got guys from all different walks of life sitting there smoking cigars, and that's what they have in common are the cigars. And that's what I love. It's kind of a place to go and unwind and to get away from everything and just relax and cultivate these friendships. So, we try very hard to be brick and mortar now. I try to Google 262 cigars, a few times a week just to see what's going on, and starting to see some of these brick and mortars that have brick and clicks. And some of that, it's very hard to police. Now, when we start seeing deep discount stuff, that's when I have to make that phone call and say, hey, I appreciate you carrying us, but we really don't want to undercut anybody. I need to ask you to adhere to the rules and stop deep discounting. So, but as far as the big boys like CI and Thompson, we're not available there.
okay,
That's good. Well,
yeah.
I noticed that you guys didn't attend IPCPR this year. Any particular reason, or?
Yeah, we're like we just talked about with the working on the blends and investing all the money back in the blends and the company. And we've only got the 2 lines right now. And I wanted to go. We were hoping to have the 3rd line by this year, but we just couldn't settle on a blend, and I didn't want to come and do something half-heartedly, and I really wanted to have a great display, and it's tough to show at a show like IPCPR. They say it's the 8th wonder of the world for a reason. It's tough to show when you've got just a couple lines. So we wanted to do it right, have three lines, expand the repertoire, maybe 4 or 5 faces in each line, and next year around the show time we'll be there, so we'll be able to have a much better display, a much better showing there.
Now, are you thinking anything along the lines of accessories like a lot of the manufacturers are doing now?
I get that question a lot, and we kind of have a joke here in the office, and it's everybody says, man, you got to do hoodies, you got to do T-shirts, you got to do this, you got to do boxers. I'm like, are we an apparel company or a cigar company? I know John Huber at Crown Heads, he jokes around. He's like, I think we're just going to sell T-shirts. We're not going with cigars, we're going to do T-shirts. But we've got a nice Lotus T4 tabletop lighter that we have our logo on. We've got the T-shirts. We've got some visors, some golf balls, some pint glasses, stuff like that. So we're, slowly doing some stuff. We'll be doing some ashtrays, but, we're just really trying to focus on the cigars and making excellent cigars. So those always come first and foremost.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of the people we have on that strictly try to stay with B&Ms, you guys are very passionate about making sure it goes back to the grassroots and sticking to quality and what the consumer wants, and that's awesome. I particularly like that.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I try to be pretty active on Twitter, and sometimes that comes back to bite you in the butt. You get these little Twitter storms going, but I try tried to run some contests, and I threw up a question, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, new line extension in the Paradigm, what size do you guys want? And my Twitter stream was just flooded, and it was, Corona, I want a Perfecto, and Lancero popped up about, 15 or 20 times, and, the masses have spoken, so Lancero Paradigm, here we come.
There you go. Yeah, that's definitely, if you want to get it out there and you want to find out what the cigar consumers is thinking about, Twitter's definitely the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. On your website, Clint, you have what's called the manifesto. Can you explain that a little bit? I was reading a little bit behind it. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, the manifesto is Mike Justice. He's one of us here at 262. He actually wrote that. Every single word was his. He didn't copy and paste any of that, and that is his. That's his feelings, his beliefs on our rights, on what we need to stand for. Kind of the political aspect of it, making sure that we're not being taken advantage of, that we're not going to be lumped in with things we shouldn't be lumped in with, and stuff like that. And it's really just a very passionate look into to Mike's mind. And it's a little lengthy, but it's a great read. And I check it out. Like you say, that's kind of our backstory. And again, it goes back to the love and the romance and our passion to bring you guys great product and to help you guys stand up and fight for our rights so we can continue to have these luxuries and this brotherhood.
No, absolutely. I read it, and I encourage everybody out there listening to us or whoever watches the video at a later date to definitely go to Clint's website and read that, the manifesto. It'll definitely open your eyes to reality.
And it's 262cigars.com.
Yeah, that you can get there at 262cigars.com or smoketherevolution.com. They both link up to the same place. So
yeah, we'll have links on the page on our website once we get the video posted and everything. I have a question here in the chat. Jersey J asked. Now, he said he understands your supply chain. Now, first off, we'll have to see if that's right. He said it's Placencia, Alec Bradley, then you.
Yeah, Alec Bradley oversees our production. So when we first started, I didn't know anything about manufacturing cigars, and I didn't want to go direct to the factory. I don't speak much Spanish at all. And so I wanted somebody that has a great relationship with a factory that shares the same kind of beliefs as I do, as far as family, running the business and stuff, and taking care of the employees. And so I met Alan Rubin, president of Alec Bradley, and we sat down and I kind of told him what I was looking to do, and it was like a match made in heaven, as they say. And so right now Alec Bradley oversees our production for us, and they're down there cracking skulls in the factory, cracking the whip, making sure that everything is getting done when it's supposed to get done, helping us with the quality control down there in the factory. So, it was a great way to to cut my teeth and to get teamed up with the manufacturer, and also to kind of learn the ropes of the manufacturing side of the industry. I think, what was the question? Any thoughts on quality control? Yeah, I kind of answered, with the quality control. Alec Bradley does a very good job, not only controlling our cigars, but their cigars. And I know they do some stuff for some other blends as well. And if you look at probably 90% of the blends that Alec Bradley oversees the production for, quality is always up there.
Good. There you go, Jay. Yeah, you got your answer.
Question's been answered. Clint, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was going to just ask him, whose other cigars are you enjoying nowadays? I mean, who do you like to smoke?
Yeah, I smoke 13th Floor from Brian White out in Gilbert, Arizona. Sean Williams, El Primer Mundo. He's got Liga Miami, which is Intubado, which is rolled by El Titan de Bronze down in Miami, which is a phenomenal cigar. And speaking of El Titan de Bronze, I smoke a lot of El Titan de Bronze. Trying to think what I was smoking the other day that I just smoking some Christophs here and there, Olivas. I probably smoke more cigars that are not mine than are mine. I smoke a lot of 724 Kurt Kindle. So I've got to know what's out there, and I've got to know what my competition is. I already know what my stuff tastes like, and I love it to death. But I also love seeing what these other guys are doing, because a lot of these guys are my peers, and we're all friends. We all get along, but at the end of the day, they're my competition, so to speak. And the beauty of this industry is, even though it's a huge competition amongst all the manufacturers, we all, for the most part, play well in the sandbox together, and we all want to see each other succeed, because it's for the better. It's better if everybody is succeeding, and it helps the industry. It gives us some legs, and allows us to have a little bit better, bigger voice. When Congress comes to pass these taxations and stuff like that. So I kind of got off on a rabbit trail there.
No, that's all right. Everybody likes to know what everybody else is smoking. So
yeah,
that's all good. Hey, Clint, let's get back. I want to get back. I'm big on the boutique lines. I've been smoking a lot of boutique blends lately. And do you feel that getting back to the grassroots is what's needed in the cigar industry today with all the new tobacco regulations?
That's a good question. I think probably to some degree, yeah. I don't want to use this term, but I can't think of anything else other than kind of guerrilla warfare. To stand up. And if you look at some of the liquor industry, you look at their lobbyists, and then you look at the tobacco industry, you look at our lobbyists. It's got to start somewhere. And everybody, when they're on the grassroots, they feel involved, and they feel like they have a voice. If everybody was advertising in the big magazines and these big places, people don't really feel like they have a say in stuff. And that's what I love about Crowned Heads, is they are very interactive with their constituents, if you will, saying, hey, what do you guys want? What do you guys want to see from us? What are we doing? Here's this. Here, we're working on some blends, this, and getting people involved. And then people, when they feel involved, they have kind of like they have a call, a call-in, a greater call-in, and they want to get even more entrenched in the issues. So I think grassroots is probably the way that we'll start to see things go.
Yeah, I agree with you with Crowned Heads, and also Rodrigo Cigars. There's another guy doing it the same way you guys are doing it, and I agree with you 100%. I think grassroots is the way it needs to get back to. We need to protect the brick and mortar, because, like you said, these online guys are just out of control. It's simply put, they're out of control, and we need to, without the brick and mortar, this industry isn't going to survive. It needs it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Well, like in my situation, I don't have a brick and mortar anywhere closer than probably 20 to 30 minutes away.
Mm.
I mean, and then it's a humidor inside a beer distributor. See, here in Pennsylvania, we have beer distributors, because we can't have, like when you said about the liquor and stuff, we can't have beer in grocery stores or Walmarts or anything like that. So, but yeah, it's inside a beer distributor. For a real regular cigar shop, I have to drive 30 to 45 minutes away.
Wow.
And it's just the, like you said, with the economy wise, and with the big guys being able to sell these cigars at such a reduced price, it's hard for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to open up a shop and try to compete.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Because, again, they love the brotherhood and the camaraderie. And they love the kitchen pass, if you will, from their wives or significant others, and just being able to go and unwind and just relax. But yeah, it does make it tough, when, like you said, the economy, that's and speaking of that, I get a lot of, anytime I go into the store, they say, your cigar's overpriced. So I understand that, let me tell you why it's priced the way it is. Because you've got Uncle Sam, everybody has their hands in stuff. I don't make enough cigars. I'm not General Altadis Rocky Patel. I'm not rolling out millions of cigars every year. So I don't get the economies of scale. I'm a small batch, much like a bourbon, a Kentucky bourbon small batch. So it's a smaller scale, so I've got to pay more of a premium, and then we've got to have it imported, and then it's taxed, and then we've got the S-chip, and then we've got the shipping, and then we've got the boxes, you've got the labels, you've got the cellophane, you've got the box lid inserts, you've got all this stuff. Everybody's got to get their cut, And since I'm not making millions and millions of cigars, it unfortunately drives my price up. And that is something that a lot of these boutique guys were struggling with. Is you can walk into a humidor and you can see certain cigars on the shelf that for $2 or $3 less than what we're able to sell them for. It's kind of the nature of the beast. But I always come back and I say, well, I can go and get that cigar online for less than you're selling in your shop. And what you get with me is a price protected product, and you get support from me, and we really try to help out the brick and mortars. And we're doing a contest, shameless plug, by the way, alert here. We're doing a contest called Cigars for Swag. And what we do is we came up, we're going to see how it works, but we've got these entry forms. We mail them out to the retailers that wanted to participate. The customer comes in, they buy 4 262 cigars, mix and match, whatever. They fill out the entry form. The store puts their information on it. At the end of the month, they send it back to me. We do a drawing at random. And the customer that we draw their name, they get, I think this month is a beer glass, maybe it's a T-shirt and a 6-pack sampler of cigars. Well, the store associated with them gets either 10% off their next order or a full box from us. So it's our way of saying, hey, we're helping you guys push our product, free up, turn it over in the humidor, get your inventory moving, get things rolling for you, and help our cigar get legs in your humidor so it will sell itself, so you guys don't have to. So we're constantly trying to come up with ways like that to help the brick and mortar, push our product.
Matt's got a question for you, Clint. He says, what about online sales at MSRP?
Can you be a little more specific?
I
With
think
your
exactly.
pricing, if you keep your pricing like you do for brick and mortars and tell the online stores you have to sell it at this price, and they have to follow it, would that be something you would do?
Yeah. I mean, I think. Again, I love the brick and mortars, but we have had some interest in that from a couple online folks that are kind of just strictly boutique cigars, and it's all price protected. And so we're entertaining that. We've got one that we've kind of come on board with. I like the idea of that, again, being not turning the brick and mortar into a showroom, but saying, hey, I picked this up online, I found it online, well, it's the same price as my brick and mortar, so I'll just go to my brick and mortar. What we don't want to see is, again, with the deep discounts where they walk into a brick and mortar, they pick up one cigar, turns the brick and mortar into a showroom, and the people go and they order online and get it for 20-30% off. That's what we don't want to see. I hope I answered your question.
That's like Matt said. I mean, there's a lot of people, even in my situation with the stores being, half hour away or whatever, there's some people that don't have stores closer than, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And Mike, yeah. And with something like, with the brick and mortar sales, and plus, well, it's kind of bad to say, but like, Mike lives in New York, and New York is just like atrocious with taxes.
Yeah.
Whereas if he would order online and accidentally forget to tell New York, then
which I never do.
Exactly. He always reports it, but
no, I just don't outline.
Yeah. But in situations like that, I think it would really help. For some people to be able to come in contact with the cigar. Some people just can't find it. That's what Absolutely. Matt was talking.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, Clint. In July, I believe you released the 4x60 in the Paradine. Is that correct?
Trying to think when we did it. That was last August, I believe. Last August. Yeah.
How's it been received, the 4x60?
I love and I hate this question. Because the best cigar out there is the one that you enjoy, okay?
Yep.
I particularly don't care for that size. Like I told you guys earlier, the box press Toro is the way to go for me. However, it comes back to we had a lot of people requesting that size, so we worked on it and worked on the blend, and we came out with it. It was very well received, and as you see now, a lot of these guys, it's like the bigger is better type. I mean, next thing, people are going to be smoking Louisville Sluggers before too long. But my personal preference is I don't think it does justice to the blend the way the box press Toro, the way the Torpedo do. With the 460, it's a little spicier, a little more peppery, a little bit stronger of a cigar. Now with the Toro and the Torpedo, I get more chocolate, more coffee notes, and more citrus, great cedar with just a little bit of pepper. But again, it all goes back to what do you like to smoke, what size do you enjoy. So, there's still a lot of the nub lovers out there, and the bigger ring gauge guys. So we offer that for them.
No, I agree with you. I know I prefer the bigger ring gauge. I know Mike does, and I always like the myth people say, there's just not enough flavor in those bigger cigars. That's so not true.
Yeah.
It's there. It's a different complexity than it is in a Lancero or a Corona or a Toro. It's different, but there's still flavors there. It's just like you said, to each their own. You smoke what you like,
Yep.
And as long as it's blended right. It has to be reblended right, too, for the bigger size, and some of them just don't do it very well.
Right.
Yeah, I'm usually Toro and above, but, I mean, there are some cigars that I think are better in a Lancero or a Robusto or a Corona, or, it varies throughout the line, but I'm definitely going to have to give that box press Toro a try that you like so much. I don't think I've ever had one that was box pressed.
Really? Yeah, we just off the only box press we offer is in the Toro.
Cool. Hey, it works for me.
Stays right in line where he wants it to be.
Yeah, I mean that's just right. What about the most difficult aspect as a boutique cigar manufacturer of actually getting your product out there to people, that people know about it and see it?
You say what's so difficult about that?
Yeah, what is the most difficult thing that you've run into with doing that? I know, like some guys starting out, they travel to individual stores, sell the cigars, this, that, the other thing. I mean, what was the most difficult part for you to get your product out there at first?
Just kind of brand recognition, because again, it kind of comes back to all the all the components we talked about, the pricing, this, that, and the other. When they say, "Well, I can put your cigar next to this $6 cigar, and somebody's going to buy the $6 cigar instead of the $8 cigar," and that's tough, because sometimes you walk into a retail store and it's almost treated like a convenience store, like a Circle K or 7-Eleven, and there's not a whole lot of interaction, and the cigars that move in the stores are the ones that the retailer recommends or pushes, unless it's kind of the staple, the main staple in the humidor. And so that was tough. Being on the road, 15, 20 days out of the month is tough, and people have to be willing to take a chance. This is when we first started. I don't know anything about your cigar. This is a no-name cigar. Why would anybody buy it? Why are they going to buy this instead of that? And so you've got to be able to close the deal and say, well, this is why, and it goes back to we support the brick and mortars. It's a full Keystone product. You're not going to find it online for 20%, 30%, under MSRP, and so that you've got to overcome those hurdles, and then the product will speak for itself. And again, not everybody loves our cigar, and I totally understand that, because everybody's palate is different. But we take pride in the construction of the cigar, and I think we've got good marketing, great marketing, and we've we ring a bell with people with our passion, with wanting to stand up for our rights, and that has really helped us, forge ahead and make those sales and those connections and kind of that the networking, and one shop carries it, and then he's got a buddy elsewhere who carries it, and then he's got somebody, and then it goes back to the Twitter and the Facebook, where all these little I guess minions running around on Twitter talking it up to their store owner, local retailer, and the retailer gives us a call and says, "Man, we got all these guys coming in asking for the cigar. Send me some samples. Let's get an account going. Get your product on the shelf." So it all comes back again to the grassroots aspect of it. But once you start to to gain momentum and to gain steam, it's almost like it's all just like a bull in a china shop, just rip roaring, ready to go.
That's good. That's good to see that you got it off. It started off so well.
Yeah, we were kind of. It was kind of weird. I didn't know how to do it. Do we build up a sales team, sales force? What do we do? And I'll tell you, it was just the Twitter. These guys on Twitter were like, man, well, I know I can get it in, probably 3 or 4 or 5 different stores. I said, okay, well, we'll give it a try, and you get them in some stores. We'll send you some product or some swag, and as our way of saying thanks. And that's kind of how it started. Was these little pockets of these grassroots guys on Twitter that knew 4, 5, 6 guys that own cigar shops, and they just kind of went around and got them in the store like that. So it was really bizarre because I didn't know how to do it. Like I said, do we do the brokers? Do we do the sales reps? What do we do? And I don't know. I've never done this before, so Twitter's a great thing.
Yeah, it was, and I guess it was a little intimidating. I mean, some of those big companies have so many sales reps, and it's just overwhelming the product that they move.
Oh, it's insane, absolutely insane. We are a very small fish in a very big pond.
Yeah. Well, we all got to start out somewhere. We're the same thing. We're a small fish too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's got a question for you, Clint. He wants to know what's the price range of the 262 cigars before taxes?
We've got the MSRP, and this is based off of the state of Virginia, which is a 10% OTP tax, OTP, other tobacco products tax. They range from $7 to $9.
Here you go, Matt. $7 to $9 for the get out there, smoke the revolution.
Spend that money.
Let's see. Spend that money. When you're smoking, is there any certain libation you like that I enjoy?
I love coffee. It also really kind of depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing blending, just water. Sometimes club soda. If we're working on some, a new creation. I enjoy a red wine with a cigar. That's about it. I don't want to take away too much from the cigar and the nuances. So I just try to stick with black coffee or a red wine.
I noticed on the Paradigm, you got a footband. I believe on the Ideology, they're all footbands as well, right?
No, Ideology is actually in the standard band position.
Is it? Why did you go with the footband on the Paradigm?
I kind of thought it was cool.
Yeah. That's a good answer. That works.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of do something different, and again, it comes back to fighting for that shelf space. And so you'll notice the Paradigm has a white box with a black lip insert, and then our shelf talkers are black as well. So it's kind of the black, white, black, and we did the footband because we wanted to kind of, sitting on the shelf, kind of grab attention. Depending on the humidor, sometimes the shelves are, stacked to where you can only see like 2.5 or 3 inches of the cigar, just due to the way that they have to work their space. So we wanted the band to be visible right there in instances like that. And you'll notice on the Ideology, it's kind of the complete opposite. We've got, the Paradigm's predominantly a white band. Ideology's a black band, black box with a white lid insert, and our shelf talker is white. So you get kind of this real yin and yang feel. And when they're matched together side by side in the humidor, it really just draws people in. So that's kind of why we decided to go that route with the marketing. I originally wanted to do nude boxes, just the nice bare wood box with the wood burn on it, and then realized that that's probably just going to get lost on the shelf because I don't know, I guess 85% of the cigars out there come in just your regular wood boxes with no no real, I don't want to say glitz and glam, but you know what I'm trying to say. Right. Some of these guys have been established, been around for a while. They can get away with that because their name carries them all the way through the humidor.
Yeah, and that's one thing that surprised me. The Syrienne, La Gloria Cubana, with their box that they made. That octagon-shaped box that they use. I mean, that was just, unbelievable. And that's one thing that everybody keeps talking about is, wow, do you see that box? Yeah. And I can see you would want to differentiate yourself from just the regular wooden plain boxes. That's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see anywhere, I don't know if I want to say near future, that you would be able to produce a cigar that would compete like in the $5, $6 range?
I don't know. That's tough to say because when I go into the process, I don't say, well, I want to make a cigar, that costs this or whatever. I try to let my palate do the talking, and whatever comes together, you go from there. I would love to be able to offer, I guess, a budget cigar, but I don't know how far away that is. I want to make sure that, and we thought about this, we talked about this, and we said when we get started, well, why don't we just come in with a $5 cigar, $6 cigar, and we said, well, if we do that, then what happens when we go, let's say that was maybe a mixed filler, a medium short fill cigar, whatever. Well, what happens when we try to go to the next level, the $7 to $9 cigar with the long filler and the more expensive wrapper? Are we going to alienate ourselves from the people that were able to find our cigars at the $5, $6 range, and then say, well, this is egregious because they're just in it for the money now because they're trying to get $7 to $9 for a cigar? And so we really thought about that when we came out, and we wanted to kind of start, in the middle somewhere, 7 to 9. I think once you get $9, $10, $11, you kind of get in that different stratosphere. And then you get below, let's say, $5.50 or $6. Sometimes people view that as it's just a bargain bin cigar. So we wanted to try to position ourselves in that 7 to 9, and then go from there, either up or down or wherever. But yeah, I think that there is a need in the market for great premium cigars, sub $6, $5 range, and we're gonna see if we can't come out with something like that. But like I said, we always kind of start. We don't really start with the price in mind. We let the tobacco do the talking for us, and then kind of go from there.
Okay. What about a milder smoke?
Yeah, we've got the ideology, which is kind of the mild counterpart to the paradigm. But at least for me anyway, and everybody's palate is different. And I actually had some guy come up to me and say, man, that ideology was strong. And, and you can kind of attribute that to that Nicaraguan tobacco in there. But, yeah, we're going to, like I said, come out with the limited release in February 2012. And we've got something probably medium, maybe medium plus, coming out late 2012. And then we'll probably, try to go very mild, probably sometime in 2013. I think. And I'm just kind of throwing darts here, right. So don't hold me to what I'm saying. But that's kind of.
Oh wait, let me write that down.
This is kind of this is recorded.
Yeah, it is recorded actually.
Oh boy.
Hey, let's see, Clint. That's got another good one for you. How many times did you go through with the paradigm and the ideology? How many different blends before you finalize?
Let's see. I think the paradigm I started out with 6 blends, I think it was, and then we had it narrowed down to 4, and then narrowed down to 4. we decided, got it down to 2, and then it was, smoked a lot of those, the 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and finally decided on the paradigm. Ideology, I'm going to kind of tell on myself a little bit here. I wasn't really looking forward to blending the ideology because it's not really up my alley. For me, the ideology is a bit mild. And sometimes with mild cigars, they kind of lose their punch. They lose their sex appeal. Sometimes it's like smoking, just crumpled up newspaper sometimes. And I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I'll tell you, the ideology, it only took 2 blends, and that was it. And we found the one we wanted really quick.
Wow.
So usually it's the ones you're not thinking is going to be the one's the one.
Yeah, and I was very worried about the ideology, the sophomore slump, as they say. We had a lot of people that liked the paradigm, and a lot of stores were picking us up, and I said, oh boy, here we go. It's going to work out one of 2 ways. Either people are going to love the ideology and it's going to carry us, and it's going to be that driving force, or they're not going to be wowed by it, and we're just going to have to, come back and put our nose to the grindstone and maybe retool it and come back stronger than ever. But fortunate for us, the ideology's caught on, and it's funny. The tides have turned. Everybody now is ordering ideology from us, where it used to be a pretty, I guess a few months ago, it was pretty even, and now it just seems like ideology's taken off. And I don't know if that's because it's summer. People don't want to smoke something really, really heavy and full, so they're toning down a little bit, or if people just love, if the industry is gravitating more toward, milder smoke. I don't know.
Well, I know. Well, I know. Mike was smiling when I said about the milder cigar. I'm a mild to medium smoker usually, and for me, and like you said, there are a lot of milder cigars that just don't have enough there to keep you, keep your attention, to keep it going. I'll say I think the EP Carrillo New Wave is just amazing for Connecticut, for a milder cigar like that. But yeah, and I've been hearing from a couple people, at local shops or wherever I go, that they're getting a little tired of those super powerhouse cigars that everybody, one person brings it out and then 50 more are right behind,
Yeah.
And they're tired of them now. So maybe they're, like you said, maybe they're just gravitating back down to smooth their palates out a little bit more from getting ravished so bad.
Yeah.
Clint, Braxton in the chat wants to know, you haven't mentioned Katy Perry. How come?
I can't go anywhere these days without Katy Perry getting drug into this. It started out as a Twitter joke between me and Brian White and Cliff Cohen. And Cliff's actually one of our reps out in Arizona, the Colorado area. What kind of started out as a Twitter joke has just manifested into this huge obsession with Katy Perry. And I will admit it, I am obsessed with Katy Perry. I've gone to iTunes, I've downloaded all the stuff. I play it in the car. I'm at stoplights, windows down. It's blaring. I don't care. I do not care. Say whoever is writing her songs is a phenomenal songwriter. I mean, the beats, it's all right there. It's the full package, and she's kind of easy on the eye. So.
I just got this strange image in my head. You don't want to know. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we better end it on that.
Yeah.
Well, at least everybody's paying attention to you on Twitter. See that?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It's definitely working for you. Speaking of Twitter, I got one last question for you, and we'll throw it out there. I like to throw it out and put people on the spot a little bit. What do you think about Twitter? Help you? Hurt you? Both.
Both. Yep. It helps get your name out, and it's fun to interact. And you meet a lot of people. Like I said, I met Brian White from 13th Floor via Twitter, and we've connected. And actually, I spent time with him out in Arizona this past year. Spent a week with him and his family, and stuff like that. And it's kind of the virtual brick and mortar, and so that's what I love about Twitter. But again, it's on the internet. Once you put it out there, it's forever. And some stuff can come back and bite you in the butt. So you just have to be careful about that. Some of the contests that we were running on Twitter, some people didn't really care for it. Which we weren't trying to be. We were just trying to have fun. It wasn't meant to be this full blown competition. And it was just like, hey, here's a couple questions, trivia questions. Go to the website, do some research on it. So what I wanted to do with that, and this is where it kind of blew up in my face, was I didn't just want to say, what is a standard Churchill size, a Cuban Churchill, or what are the three main leaves on a tobacco plant. I wanted people to kind of dig and find some research on 262. So we had questions, like what band did Clint play in college, or what instrument does Mike Justice play, or what branch of the military did Jerry Ernst serve in, and stuff like that, so that people kind of had to do some digging and some research, and that that kind of blew up in our face, and so you kind of got to be careful.
Yeah, I will tell you from experience with contests, people like simple. Yeah. And it's one of those things, like you said, I mean, it was driving traffic to your website. It was getting people out there looking and reading about more of your your items and everything. But yeah, I've run into that with over at SR too. I mean, it's just easier the better, it seems, and people get mad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. That's actually no. We have another question in the chat room. Clint, what do you think about cigar blogs?
Oh,
boy, that's another.
Honestly, we want honest, Clint. That's all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, if you think they suck, say they suck. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll write it in later. Don't worry. It's all right.
Again, they have their pros and they have their cons. A lot of people learn about a lot of new cigars on the blogs, which is great. It's just another avenue, another grassroots avenue. The bad part is that it's very easy to hide behind a keyboard, out there in cyberspace. And I've noticed there's just a lot of ribbing going on, just a lot of hateful words, hateful comments coming back and forth, and there's personal jabs, not. Yeah, and that's what's unfortunate is you can kind of hide behind the keyboard and then put somebody on blast and get this virtual warfare going on, and then it's tearing down the industry that we're working so hard to build up and to bring that brotherhood and the camaraderie, and then it kind of tears it down, so it almost sometimes defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree with you 100%. I think a lot of times, too, and I've noticed it, even in myself it's happened, that it's hard to, when someone's typing something to you, there's like 3 different emotions. You could read that 3 different ways and say, okay, does he mean it this way? Does he mean it that way? And I think sometimes things get mixed up that way, but I think you're spot on. I mean, it's supposed to be about a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We're supposed to all come together and help each other out, and I go over that 100 times. There's a lot of. I wouldn't be where the little spot I'm in today if it wasn't for a lot of the people in the industry that are right here with us today. But we got to stick together, and like you said, Twitter can help you, but it could also hurt you a lot. It really could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do have one final question. What do you think CRA?
I love the CRA. I think that it's still fairly young, still fairly new. I think that they've got a great vision, but I think that the CRA can't do it all. They need our help. I think of the New York taxation that we went through last August, last summer, whatever it was. That 70% hike, and I remember. It was funny. I was standing next to Glenn Loop, and somebody was putting him on blast, like, "Man, you didn't do anything for me, and I thought you were going to help me out, and my store's failing because you didn't do your job." And Glenn, as polite as he could be, seersucker suit, the bow tie, he says, "I appreciate your comments." He said, "But what did you do?" He just put him right on blast. He said, "Did you call your congressman? Did you sign the petition? Were you proactive? Did you go down to City Hall? Did you do this? Did you do this?" And listed off all this stuff. And the guy was standing there like, with his jaw on the floor. He didn't know what to say. And so I think that the CRA is doing what it can do, but again, it needs our help. And we look at the petition out in California a few months ago to some smoking ban, I think, or whatever, in public places. And there were only 1,500 signatures on that petition, and that's what's unfortunate. There was another one, I think, up in Minnesota, and there were maybe 700 signatures on that petition as well. And so that's what's tough is people, they kind of expect the CRA to do everything for them, and they just want to sit back and reap the benefits, and then when it doesn't work out, then they have somebody to blame, they have a scapegoat. So I hope I answered your question. I hope I didn't ruffle too many feathers, but that's my thought. I'm constantly calling my congressman. I write him letters. I sign all the petitions. I'm emailing this person and that person and saying, hey, I'm a manufacturer. I'm a small business owner. This is what will happen if you pass this bill. Please vote against, a tax hike, whatever. And does it work? You can see that it works. You can see in New York where this past, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, where it was on the docket to lower the taxes after Ron Melindy went through and drove through all these New York. And Mike, you probably got a lot of closer to the ground up there than we are, but you can see where he's making waves, and people are taking notice to this. And he films these humidors with empty shelves and says, "Look at what you're doing." And we see what it passed the House, right? And we're waiting on the Senate. Is that what it was? I think.
Yep.
So,
passed the House, waiting on the Senate.
Yeah. So there you go. And we're starting to see this stuff, starting to see it work. So yeah.
Yeah, I was in a brick and mortar yesterday, actually trying to find some of your cigars, but they didn't have them. And the guy in there they were talking about what's happening in the state. And I'm not going to try to ruffle feathers, but I'm going to tell exactly what the guy said. He's like, they talk about taxes and business people in the state, and they want to help out, and they're doing nothing to do anything with this tobacco tax, but yet they quickly passed gay marriage. He goes, I don't understand it. And I was like, well, to each his own. I don't know what to tell you, but you got to keep fighting. You got to keep hanging in there, and things will change. When the people take it back, it'll change.
Yeah.
And I think as CRA grows, they're gonna develop into an organization that is going to be able to take care of things more on their own without a lot of outside help. I mean, it's still always good to throw your support in there, but just like the NRA. NRA started small, and look at them nowadays. And now I think there's more gun owners than cigar smokers maybe in the United States, but
exactly, yeah.
But yeah, I can see it heading in the right place. I just got their newsletter the other day. I think yesterday or day before, the first one I think that they've done.
Yeah.
So it's going in the right place.
It's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. In a war, there's lots of little battles. It just takes time, and people have to understand that, and it'll change, I mean, come up and live in New York for a while, and you'll understand,
Yeah.
I'm still standing here and still doing what needs to be done. It sucks. It is what it is, but you know what? It's like you said, Clint, you gotta support your B&M no matter what, even in this state. You gotta go support them. I don't care if it's higher, you still gotta support them. It'll change, or they won't be around. It's simple as that. Then what do we do,
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Well, it looks like that's all the questions, Clint, in the chat room. If anybody's got any other questions, let's get them up. If not, we're about an hour into our show. We'll let Clint get going. I know he has a prior engagement, and we appreciate you coming on. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say, we're running over a little bit because we had technical difficulties at the beginning. So,
damn Apple.
I didn't say anything.
But, I know you want. I figured I'd get it out. Might as well stab myself now. So. All right. Well, listen. Then there's no more questions. We're going to end the show. We want to thank Clint for coming on. Clint, we'll have this post up. We'll have everybody can follow Clint on Twitter. That's 262 Cigars, I believe, on Twitter.
Yep, that's correct.
And loved having you on. I want to have you back on again, maybe when you got something new coming out. I really like the guys that are into the brick and mortar. To me, those are the guys that, I don't know, I have a lot of passion for it because I appreciate what you guys are doing. You give a crap about what the consumer thinks and what the brick and mortar thinks, and not what all the people online think. So,
well, thank you.
No problem.
If you guys would have me.
No, absolutely. It was all our pleasure. So that's it, Clint. We will keep in touch, and again, wish you nothing but success.
Thanks, guys.
See you later, Clint.
All right. Thanks. See you. I don't think Mikey knows. You guys
I have to hang up, don't I?
There you go.
Sorry about that. I'm kind of like running the thing because of technical difficulties earlier.
We had some technical problems, so Mike had to be. Mike's me today. He's on my account, and I'm on Mike's account. So
I was sitting there waiting. I was like, why ain't he hanging up?
But anyways, that was a great show. Clint was really, really good guy. I was glad to have him on. What you guys think in the chat room? Don't all speak at once. Slow down, guys. Well, we're glad we had you guys with us this morning. We know it was earlier than normal. We did have some technical difficulties, which sucked, period. I guess that's how it is. But what I want to tell you guys in the chat room, our next show is our blogger show, and we are going to have the fine gentleman over at Stogie Review on, and we're going to have a contest. We're going to give away a humidor, and we're going to give away a stinky stand-up ashtray thanks to Rich over at East Coast Cigars. And I'll tell you what, we're going to have one contest where only the people in the chat room will win. We're going to have one contest where anybody who hits our site's going to win. And I'll tell you, you're going to want to pay attention to this contest because this humidor is absolutely gorgeous, and the stinky ashtray is absolutely gorgeous. So when is that show, Mike?
Yeah, it's in August. I
Dumbass.
think it's August 7th. August 7th?
It's a Thursday night. It's August 4th. Pay attention.
August 4th.
Yeah, it's a Thursday night. Is the Blogger show.
See,
anyways,
Mike keeps all the notes.
Pay attention to our website, and you'll know when this show is. But you're definitely going to want to tune in because it should be fun. I will be surrounded by nobody but Stogie Review that day, so I will be sitting in the middle and surrounded. We're hoping to have everybody on, so we're actually hoping to try a 5-shot, which I know no one's tried yet, so we may be the test dummy. But we're hoping to have all the guys from Stogie Review on, and it should be a good, fun show, so we hope you tune in. Other than that, I want to thank everybody in the chat room once again for your continued support to Stogie 411, the original radio cast. That's right, I said it. Anything else, Mikey?
No, that's just want to apologize. You can see a little technical difficulties yet up above Mike. It's different capture points, and I just didn't have time to do all that when we ran into problems. So sorry about that, guys and girls. And Tom.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Stogie 411. We thank you very much, and we will see you guys all on our next show. Bye-bye.
See yous.